off the mountain today. Still in the mountains. I'm here in beautiful Park City at this super cute Airbnb. Just look at this kitchen, it's so cute. It'll be my next video, so stay tuned. But while I'm here and finally have the wherewithal, I've been meaning to film a new what's in my hiking day pack video for a long time. The only one I've ever done was 4 years ago. I believe I filmed it when I was hiking the Dolomites in northern Italy. That was a long time ago. I still have that pack, by the way, that Osprey pack. I believe it's a 20-liter Mina. I don't think they make it anymore. I still keep it, like I still use it sometimes. I used it especially earlier this spring when it was wintry conditions and I needed to bring more gear with me, extra socks and layers, and even like have snowshoes on and stuff. But this is my ride or die. This is my favorite pack as of late. It's the Gregory 16-liter. I don't know if they have this exact one still. They tend to like cycle through all these brands, like cycle through their products. But this is the one that's supposed to be made for a woman's body type. And I will say that it works really well for me. I am short-waisted and rather curvy. So I need something that sits well on my back and isn't too long. I love all the ways that you can adjust the pack. It's all very standard these days, but of course you've got your waist, and since I am short-waisted, I like that this goes like right where it's supposed to in my actual waist between my hips and my ribs. And then of course you've got the chest strap, which is adjustable. These little gray clips on the side, you can move it down or up. I am slightly busty, so I have it as high as it goes, and that works for me. And then it has ways to adjust different ways, you know, the straps and all of that. It's just a wonderful pack. And 16 liters is not a big pack, but it suits me really well. Like I said, I pull out the 20-liter bag when I need something a little bit more, but this just is the most comfortable. It sits the best on my body. And I thought today I would pack it with you to show you what I bring on a typical hike with me. So just to go through sort of the basics first. This is what I carry for any hike that's really more than 6 miles. I generally, pretty much all the time, hike solo, and especially as a solo female hiker, I take my safety and preparedness very seriously. So I hike with a full pack if it's a 6-mile hike or if it's a 20-mile hike or anywhere in between. I want all of my things to feel like I'm the most prepared that I can be. Of course, you cannot be prepared for everything, as in any part of life, but I do the best to be as prepared as possible. And that includes following the 10 essentials principles. So now I pulled up the National Park Service guide for this. I'll also link a very cute like graphic that I found that just makes it easy to remember. But there are 10 essentials that are really important to have when hiking, maybe more than 6 miles, but just for me, that's my comfort zone. You have to figure out for yourself what your comfort zone is. So for 6-mile plus hikes, I usually bring my bag and it has all these things. The top 10 essentials, I'm reading them off so I don't forget any, is navigation. So that includes a map, a compass, and or a GPS system. We'll go through all of that. I'll show you what I'm bringing. Sun protection, sunglasses, sunscreen, and a hat. I always have all 3. Insulation, jacket, hat, gloves, rain shell, and thermal underwear. Now this depends on your climates. Know the climate that you're hiking in, and the thing that I've heard said is to pack the layers that you would need in the event that you have to spend a night on the mountain that you didn't know you had to spend. Like if there's an emergency, something happens and you're spending a night on the mountain, think about how cold it gets where you are and what you would need, especially if there's inclement weather, if it's raining, and to stay dry, to stay warm, etc. Illumination, so that includes a flashlight, lanterns, and or a headlamp. First aid supplies, that's pretty self-explanatory. Bring a kit. I usually have this one kit with me, but I like add in my own things. I'll go through everything. A way to start a fire, matches, lighter, and fire starters. I'll show you that too. A repair kit and tools. So I don't if I was hiking, like backpacking, I'd have a repair kit for like a tent, but because I'm not tent camping, usually I'm not backpacking, that's not something I do very often at all. I do have some tools that I can use, some basics tools like a knife, right? Nutrition, obviously you need some food, hydration, water, and water treatment supplies. It's important to think of, if you run out of water, how could you get yourself some more water, filter or whatever. An emergency shelter. This can include a tent, a space blanket, a tarp, and or a bivvy. I choose the lightest weight option, but depending on the what kind of treks you're doing, you might want to up the ante there. So that's the official list from the national parks, and you will find that's very consistent across the board. So let's pack the bag. I've completely emptied it out, and I'm going to show you all of the things that I keep in it for this 6+ mile hiking situation, like I said. Of course, I'm going to have my water bladder. I have a 3-liter water bladder. I usually fill it all the way up, regardless of the length of the hike, just to be sure. And in this pack, there's a little pocket in the back, goes all the way down, and there's a hook on the top where the water bladder hooks in, and then you feed the tube through this little slot on the back. You just want to make sure there's no kinks in it. It's empty right now because I am done with my hiking for this trip. But then on the pack, there are ways to kind of, like, you can decide what's most comfortable for you. I usually put the tube through one of the loops, and then there's this little clip here that I clip it onto. Now, I believe this came with the pack, but there is a magnet. Like, this hydration bladder came specifically with this backpack. And so one of the great features of this is the chest strap, like I showed you when it was on. This has a magnet on it, the other side of the hose, and it clips on. So it does a better job when it's on my body. But just trust me that it stays there, and it just makes it so easy. It's not like swinging, hitting my arm or my side or anything. It stays up. I also really like this particular water bladder. It's Gregory to go with the bag, because it has an on-off valve for the bite piece. So you can, like, for instance, how many times have I had this in the back seat of my car and it spills because the bag just like falls over, it's resting on, and the water starts leaking out. This makes sure that it stays leak-free in my car. A couple little hydration pack tips. I completely blow out the tube after a trip, just to keep it dry, and I store it in like the back part of the back of my front seat has a pocket on it, like a pouch on the back of the seat, and I store the tube facing down on each end on there to keep it, kind of drained. And then this actual pouch here, I literally hang. It has this little hook. Hang this off the back seat of my car while not in use, open like this, and it dries itself out. So I never worry about it molding. I also make sure that this tube is cleared out. You can even blow it out. I usually blow it out after my last hike of the trip. But those are just things to do. And also, before I put the full water bladder in my bag, I'll hook it up. Because the water comes in from the bottom, I'll turn it upside down, and I'll just suck out all the air on the bottom, and then when you flip it back over, it's all airtight in there and doesn't slosh around. This is just like a nitpicky thing. If you're a hiker or a runner, you know that like hearing the sloshing water just kind of like grates on your nerves for a little bit. Anyway, that's usually the only thing I put in that back compartment. Oops, sorry. And it also stays relatively cool in there because of the structure and design of this bag. Has a really nice airflow area. So I wonder if I can show you. Like, I could stick my whole hand in there. Like, that's how it's designed. So that's what goes in the back. Also for hydration, I usually bring a small water bottle. Like, this is like a liter basically, with some, so that's just water in my hydration bladder. In this little thing, I will put in an electrolyte. And these are my favorite electrolytes. These are the Element electrolytes. I like all of the flavors, basically. Sometimes I'll keep this in the fridge the night before, put some ice in it to keep it cool. And that just goes in one of the side pockets. Just pretend it's full with my electrolytes already in it. So that's my hydration all ready to go. Okay, so in terms of kind of basic supplies that I just keep in my bag at all time, of course we talked about the first aid kit. This is a 2 people for 2 days hiker first aid kit. You can buy all different sorts of these at REI or other hiking, outdoor supply stores. This one I like because it feels like it has all the things in it. So it has all the things it comes with: wound care, burn, blister. It's all organized. Medication, cuts and scrapes, stop bleeding fast. There's even, if I'm not mistaken, a little guide in there. Yeah. So if you're on the trail and you injure yourself and you just don't really know what you're dealing with, this is a whole comprehensive guide it comes with on how to treat different problems that might happen, that might arise if you have no extra support. The only extra things that I put in are some KT tape, and I've replaced Band-Aids. Knock on wood, haven't had to use much of this kit in my experience, except for Band-Aids. But I do like to put some KT tip in there for foot issues that can crop up for me. These little heel/blister KT tapes, I've been experimenting with this training cycle. I really like them. And then I just have some regular KT just cut down to a smaller size, and one bigger one, like if I rolled an ankle or something, that would just lend some support. I've also attached an emergency whistle on here. Comes in handy if you are lost in the wilderness and you don't want to be screaming the whole time because you're gonna hurt your voice, lose your voice, to have a whistle to alert that you need help. Okay, in terms of GPS/navigation, of course, I always have my phone. Always have my phone. And I subscribe to All Trails, which means that I can download my trail maps to use offline. Because pretty much, I would say at least 50% plus of the time, I don't have service for some or even all of my hikes. This way, I can download my trail maps and it still works with satellite to track me. So it's one way to track me on my phone, even when I don't have cell service. I bring an extra portable battery to fully charge my phone one more time, because when you're off grid and the phone is using satellite to track you on your downloaded trail maps, it sucks up a lot of battery. So I always have this charged with me, ready to go. And additionally, my watch. I have a Garmin Fenix 7 something or other. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'll try to link. I don't even know if they make this exact one anymore, but I'll try to link it below. It also works off satellite, and when I'm tracking my hikes, it leaves breadcrumbs for me. So I can actually go to a part of my hiking tracking, see my breadcrumbs. If I get lost and I need to get back on trail and this has failed me, that's a backup to that I can retrace my steps using the breadcrumbs left on my watch. And then the last level of defense with GPS is sometimes, not always, but sometimes I have a paper map. I will buy them for different state, national parks and things, but a lot of state parks and places you visit will give you a paper map, and I keep it, and when I have one, I keep it in this little Sea to Summit waterproof thing just in case it rains and the whole bag gets wet. At least the map is okay, and I have a compass. I highly recommend just watching some simple YouTube videos to learn how to properly use a compass. This is if my technology completely fails or I run out of battery or whatever, this is my backup, is to have this sort of stuff. So I always keep the compass at the very least in there, but also, when I have a paper map, I put it in there. Okay, and then this is another thing that lives in the bag all the time. This is just another little Sea to Summit pouch. These are just my little emergency what have yous. In the event that I need them, I have a little spade, a little shovel spadey thing. What do they call this? The deuce number 2. This is a little trowel to make a little, just in case nature calls in a way where you need to dig a hole. That's what that's for. Just also brush up on trail etiquette for that. There's a certain amount of yards you're supposed to be away from a trail to make your business, and a certain depth of hole that you're supposed to dig. Like I said, for water, I do have a filtration backup. This probably should be replaced now, but this is one of those life straws, I think. This is the Be Free. I think that it's not a life straw, but it's a, so what you would do is you would fill this with fresh water that you find in like a creek or whatever, and then you put this on and you squeeze it through into some other receptacle, either my hydration bladder or my little water bottle, to filter water in a pinch. I usually have enough water on me, so that's not usually an issue. I have some waterproof matches, good to have. As you know from the national parks recommended suggestions there, I have a carabiner. Is that how we say that? I think so. You just never know when something like that will come in handy. And then I do have some, is this called ripcord? I'm blanking on the name of this. This is just something like, let's say I needed to string up a makeshift shelter for myself, or if I'm in bear country and I need to get my food off the ground, if I'm spending an unexpected night, I can like throw this over a tree and hang my food up. It's just a little bit of paracord. Is that what it's called? Now I can't remember. I'm sorry. Tweezers. This is so random seeming, but ticks and splinters, things that can get infected. Having a pair of tweezers, I could even put that in my first aid kit. That's not a bad idea. And then last but not least, I do have an emergency blanket. This is very small, very lightweight. It's just in case of emergency. And I also carry a copy of my passport with me. I have several different forms of identification that I travel with on my person and in my pack. That is one of them. Just in case of emergency, or if you never know when you need your passport, I don't know. But I also, in that little bag, have a backup sunscreen, because like we know, sun protection is important. And that all goes in that little pack. I'm gonna go ahead and put my little tweezers in my first aid kit, because that makes sense. I don't know why I didn't have them in there before. It should be quite quick. Okay, so those things are like in the bottom of the bag. In addition, for identification, I also have a bag tag that there's no place to actually put it on my bag there, it doesn't get in the way, but I just have it loose. It has my email and my phone number in there. And of course, I bring my whole wallet with me every time. My wallet goes in this top little section here, my car keys. I always clip them in because you don't want them just randomly fall out in the trail and then you get back to your car and you're like, where the heck are my car keys? And the last piece of identification I have, which I will have to run and get, hold on, is my road ID. I honestly don't wear this on every hike, but I do wear it, especially if I'm running at home locally. I'm not necessarily bringing my wallet out with me. Maybe I'm only going out for a few miles and I'm not even bringing anything. This is not hiking. This is just like running in suburbia. I at least wear this. You can put any information you want on it. Mine has my name, the town and the state I live in, and a couple of my emergency phone numbers. If you had like some sort of life supporting medications or anything, that you could like list those on there too. So that's another thing, another method of identification. Again, these are kind of worst case scenario situations. Okay, what else did we talk about? So in addition, for sun protection, these don't usually go in my bag, but I'm always wearing a hat and sunglasses on my head, rain or shine. So sun protection there. And also for the reapplying, like I have sunscreen that I keep in my car that I don't bring the whole big bottles with me on my trail, but I just have like a little bottle to top up every about 90 minutes or so. I will reapply, especially to my face and my arms and anything exposed. And then I have a broad spectrum SPF 40 lip balm. This one's by Supergoop. I really like it. These little things I keep up on my left hip pocket. So they just go in there. I also put in there, this is my tool, a little pocket knife, and the case to my sunglasses. This is just really helpful for cleaning off lenses of glasses or phones or cameras or what have you. I have already showed you my external battery. Also, I have this little goodie bag here. This has some cash in it, some extra cash. I usually have cash in my wallet too, but I have like, I don't know, 25 or 30 bucks here. I have some Sea to Summit wilderness wipes. Comes in handy. I don't use them that often, but just every once in a while. And a pack of Kleenex. Always need Kleenex on the mountain, no matter the time of the year, because the nose. And I also have different tips that go to my hiking poles in there. But this little pack of stuff, because I do reach for at least the tissues more often, there's this little mesh pocket at the top here. So I put those things in there to keep them readily accessible. I also, in my bag, have a little, this is totally just like bonus, but a little towel. I use this when sometimes I'll slip and fall, and then I'll use some water to like wipe myself off. The little towel comes in handy for that. I have like a lot of ways to dry myself. Speaking of which, I always have a bandana on my bag at the very least, and usually I have a secondary one on my person as well. Lately I've taken to wearing them like bandit style to protect my neck and also just to help keep me cool and from getting too sunburned. But I always like to have one that stays on my pack. Honestly, it's one of those things where I just reach back and pull for it. Like I said, if I get some dirt on me that I need to clean off or whatever. I keep putting this on upside down. Let's try this again. I just roll it up and put it on the bag, on the side like that. See? Right there. Okay. Oh, I almost forgot another like super important of my navigation / safety is my Garmin Enreach Mini. This is a little beacon, which basically is a way not only to track via satellite your location, you can send through this device messages to loved ones if you're off the grid, and they can track you on a map. It can track every 10 minutes or whatever and send your location out if you want. But it also has an SOS button on it. In the most dire of circumstances, if I couldn't get my phone to work and if I really needed help, was really stuck, no way to get myself out of a situation, I would hit that button. Now I do pay for insurance through Garmin to cover me in the event that I need to get like airlifted out of somewhere, which can be really, really expensive. To me, it's a small price to pay for that just in case peace of mind. But I keep mine clipped up on my left shoulder, so when it's on my person, and I'll show you, it sits, hold on, like right up here, so I can reach it easily. So let's say I've got this whole thing clipped in. There you go. She's right there. It tracks my mileage. Also, if that's a secondary function of it, I think to me it's more just emergency situation, but it is also a way to communicate in non-emergency situations if you set it up for that. Other things that I keep in my pack pretty much all the time, my micro spikes. These are by, I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce this right, Kula, this brand. Honestly, I don't necessarily bring these when I am hiking below certain elevation, but if I'm gonna do anything above 9,500 feet, I'm better safe than sorry bringing these along because snow can linger. Maybe not so much in July and August, but if you get up, if you're doing a 14 or something, even in August, you might still need these. And these are so easy. I've shown these in several videos this season, but they just go right over my shoes. Doesn't matter if I'm wearing my winter hiking boots or my, regular trail runners. They work just fine, and they grip the ice or slushy snow or whatever situation you need help getting some extra traction in. They really, it's like, again, it's one of those peace of mind things. Do I carry them with me 100% of the time? No, but more often than not, especially if I know if I'm going up that high and there's a possibility there could be snow, I bring them. Okay, for weather, this is a rain cover that actually came with my Osprey 20-liter pack, but I just keep it in this one. This pack didn't come with a rain cover. A rain cover comes in so handy to keep your stuff dry in the event of, weather rolls in so fast up the mountain. And this color, I have come to learn, This like neon green is one of the most spottable colors at all times of day. I thought it would be like neon yellow or red, but no, apparently this green is the one that sticks out the most, especially in lighting like dusk, dawn lighting. So in a pinch, that's good to have. And I just keep mine stuffed right in the front pocket of my bag for easy access. In my Osprey pack, it actually has like a little bottom zipper compartment that's meant for it, but I don't have that here. What else goes on the front of my bag is my Kula Cloth. This is an antimicrobial cloth to use for the ladies if you have to pee in the woods. Instead of having tissue or something you have to pack in, pack out, because always don't leave tissue on the trail, please. In the wilderness, anywhere. If you use a tissue, you have to take it back with you, okay? But I like these because then I don't have to think about pack in, pack out. So this side is antimicrobial, and this side is like a waterproof material for, you know, when you're holding it, and you can use it to pat yourself dry. And then I just put mine in the washing machine with all my other clothes. I'm delicate, and air dry. But they snap on real nice to your pack like that. And it also, like, I wash mine after every trail, but I sometimes use them multiple times, especially if I'm doing a 20+ mile day. I'm gonna have to pee more than once. Of course, if there's a pit toilet, I use their toilet paper, and you can dispose of it safely in there. But I do pee on the trail quite a bit because, you know, we gotta stay hydrated, and you know you're staying hydrated if you're peeing every couple hours. So yeah, this kind of design also allows for airflow, so it dries while you're moving. You know what I mean? Okay, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. I always bring my poles with me for any hike, 6 miles plus, even if it's not supposed to be a lot of up and down, a lot of elevation gain or loss. To me, it's just one of those rather safe than sorry things. These are my favorites. I've been using these for years. These are the, what do they call these? The Distance Carbon Z poles by Black Diamond. Isn't that the name of this company? I think so. Anyway, they're just so easy. I love that they fold up. So small, they're so lightweight, and then they're really easy to just pop together quickly on the trail. You buy them for your size. So basically you want them, I'm not an expert here, but you want them to come up to a place where your elbow, my arm is relaxed and I'm holding it here. I'm sorry, it's a lot to manage here. Do you all know how to properly hold a pole? So you put the strap in your hand like this, so it's kind of around the edge of your wrist, and then you wrap your hand around it, but most of the weight of the pole, of holding it, goes into this area here, so you're not tiring your hand. So basically I can put the full weight without even gripping the pole with my fingers. That's a tip I've learned from all the 29 mountain events I've done. Anyway, you want a 90-degree angle. If the pole is just slightly in front of you, which it would be when you're walking, you want a 90-degree angle. So this is something I do recommend trying in store before you commit to what length works for you. Mine are 1/10s. But yeah, there's some that are fixed lengths, there's some that are adjustable, but I find that the trifold ones like these are usually fixed lengths. I think they kind of have to be logistically. But even if I don't pull them out once during a hike, I still want them on there. And because they are carbon, they are super lightweight. So that's kind of the exterior of the bag here. Last couple of things, flashlight. This actually usually lives in my carry-on. This is a super, super strong flashlight that keeps its charge forever. It's a D light. That can go in here as well, in this top portion. Sorry, I meant to put that in there before. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty now. So the stuff that kind of changes depending on the hike. My layering. So I always at least bring a jacket. If it's the hottest of the hot, and I know it's not getting below 50 degrees overnight, or even hotter than that, I will bring my lightest jacket. This is my Patagonia Houdini. I love it. It's really, really great lightweight jacket. It's not fully waterproof, but it's good enough. Honestly, I would normally pack my Arc'teryx, I think it's the Atom jacket, That one's very versatile and has a little bit more insulation in it, but I always at least make sure I have some sort of layering option, even if I never pull it out. Also, this is very lightweight and packs up very small. If I'm going hiking someplace where the temperature I know overnight is going to drop lower than like 45 degrees, then I will also hike with a pair of gloves and maybe like an ear band, like an ear warmer band to wear over my hat in the event that I get stuck. Okay, and last but not least, food. Y'all know I always have snacks. Snacks on snacks on snacks. And yes, I reuse my Ziploc bags to death. But no food actually touches this. This is just a receptacle to keep everything in. Let's say I've got like a 15 to 20 mile hike. I'm bringing 2 of all of my favorites. I don't have one of them to show you here because I used them all this weekend, but I'll talk about it. So I like to have a mixture of quick carbs, and that's, you know, like an applesauce or a gel or something like that, and protein options as well. So for quick carbs, my favorite is applesauce. Cinnamon applesauce is my favorite. So let's say I've got 2 of those in there. And then I have some other quick carbs. These are my favorite, the Soli fruit jerky, the mango. One of these little fruit jerky strips is a whole mango. So I got 2 of those. Let's say I've got 2 protein options here, some sticks. There's a turkey stick and a sea salt beef stick. So that's a nice hit of protein for you. And the thing that I don't have to show you that I've been using this season so far and really like are the Pro Mix puff bars, protein puff bars. They're like kind of like Rice Krispies. They're not as good as Rice Krispies. Let's not be disillusioned there. They taste like health food, but it has not only 15 grams of protein and at like 150 calories, which is what I'm aiming for about every hour, 100 to 150 calories, but it also has a nice amount of carbs in there. So I'll have 2 of all of those things in there. Sometimes I'll have a croissant, you know, if I have one, I'll bring it with me. And then my backup, if I am bonking, I have Nerd gummy clusters. I don't actually like these that much, but if I need a zap back into life, those are my emergency go-to. Sometimes I'll bring an orange or an apple as well, depending on the length of the trail and what I have on hand. But all of that, as you can see, fits real nice in my pack. Now, this, when all the waters are full, weighs about 20 pounds. It's usually like 18-ish pounds. I've measured it many times. And so when I'm home and not hiking in the mountains, I do step-ups with a 20-pound vest in my home gym because that simulates what I'm doing on the trail with approximately the amount of weight that I carry. Okay, before I leave you, I did want to show you the other packs that I use. This one more frequently, especially in the last year as I've gotten more into dipping my toe into trail running. This is my Rab vest. It's a 12-liter vest. I have the same one at home, but it's 6 liters. It just means it's a smaller pocket in the back. This is great. I've used this for the 29 trail event. I'm going to use it again this year. I can stuff a whole jacket in there, among other things. It does have a spot to put a water bladder that can attach there. It has also on the inside a little zip pocket. That's where I'll put my wallet and keys when I'm running. I will tell you that I don't bring as much with me. I'm comfortable using just this in an unsupported trail run for up to about a half a marathon-ish, because I know that's gonna only take me about 3 hours at a leisurely pace too, depending on the altitude. And this one comes with these soft flasks that are each a liter, and so I will fill one with just plain water and the other with water with element in it, and then I will put my tissues and sunscreen and lip balm in one side of the pocket. It's got great pockets. Most running vests do though. And on the other side, on the right side, is where I usually keep all of my fueling. I just like to have things in a certain place every time when I'm running. I don't want to think. So I always have my electrolyte water on my right chest, my plain water on my left chest, and my nutrition on my right. These are my favorite running nutritions, whether it's road running or trail running. Huma energy gels. At home I use Spring. I'll bring them out with me. I just happen to have Huma still on hand out in my travel rig, but the Spring energy gels are my favorite. And then these, if I want something to chew on, the Scratch Energy Chews. Those are my running things of choice. It has these little pockets too in the front. I honestly don't use those that much. I usually slip my phone into the back because it has this pocket that goes all the way through, which is a great place to stow like a jacket or something as well. If you didn't want to fit in there, and it has a place to put jacket on the outside. And when I've used this in events and even on trails where I wanted to have my hiking poles with me, I can put my hiking poles horizontally here through these loops in the back, and they work just fine. So that's my trail running pack of choice. If I'm hiking less than 6 miles, I bring this little guy with me. This is by REI Co-op, their brand. I believe this is called their Trail 5 waist pack. I don't know, I'll link it below. I like it. It has all these little bells and whistles in it. I honestly don't usually hike less than 6 mile trails, but I will use this for 29 Mountain because that's a very well supported event. I don't need to carry a lot on me, but you are required to carry certain things. And also I like to bring my own bottle for electrolytes. So this I will put in whatever is needed for that length of hike. I will say I did have a mini first aid kit in here, but I took it home and put it in my rocking pack at home. So I need to get a new one of those for there, because I still think you should always travel with a little first aid kit. You can get very small ones too. I love the made ones at the outdoor supply store that tell you like for what kind of hikes or how many people or how many days. Like, I think those are really handy. But this is a comfortable pack. It's just a waist pack, right? You can fit 2 water bottles in it if you want. It doesn't have a place for a hydration bladder. Some waist packs do. You can fit an awful lot in here, but this is just if I'm going out for something really short or for 29 Mountain. And y'all, that was a long video. This is kind of a throwback to what's in my purse. I don't even carry a purse anymore, y'all, but I do love my my hiking packs. I love this bag so much. Oh, I didn't tell you what I usually put in the right hip pack is my little camera that I'm filming on right now, my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I keep it in there, and it's just for easy access in and out. The only thing I haven't figured out how to store on my pack is my phone. But lately I've been wearing leggings with pockets or short, like biker shorts with pockets when I'm hiking, or in my trail pants. I'll just keep them in the little leg pocket. I'll just keep my phone here because I want my phone. I'm checking my trail map all the time because I am like navigationally challenged. If there's a way to take like a fork in the road of the trail, I will automatically pick the wrong way. So I always have to check my trail maps at every fork, even with signage, just to make sure. So I haven't figured out how to get my phone on my pack, but I have figured out that I like having it on this thigh or on my hip, and that works just fine. That's it. I'm not an expert. I'm not nearly an expert in any of this. This is just what I carry to make me feel comfortable. I'd love to know if there's anything you think I'm missing. I'm not taking anything away from this collection. Like, this is the minimum comfort level for me. But again, like I said, keeping in mind the top 10 essentials, you have to also consider the things that you need individually for your personal comfort, because just feeling secure is a huge part of having fun on the trail, and that is what hiking should be fun. It shouldn't be fear. Of course, there's going to be situations that you cannot avoid. Hopefully you can avoid them for most of your life, but just as with anything, you never know. But I just feel more confident, secure, and ultimately happier knowing that I've covered my bases in this way. Anyway, that's it. I'll be back on the trails sharing with you my Park City adventure next week. If you care to check that out, stay tuned. Not next week, 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I post every other week. And yeah, wishing you happy trails and magical miles. And yeah, stay safe out there, you guys. All right, take care. Bye.